Okay, I should be live. Let me just check here. Give me a second. It's always kind of awkward and weird. All right, we're good. All right, welcome in everybody to another week. That means it is officially another Mandalorian episode review. This is obviously, of course, the review of Season 2, Episode 6, or Chapter 14, The Tragedy. Now, we're going to get into some basic generic things that I thought about this episode, as well as some spoiler stuff towards the end. I like to keep these reviews very short, to the point. I don't take more than like 15, 20 minutes usually. Last episode that we did, I had my friend Chris Bowie from Filmstock, and so that was kind of there was a reason for why we went a little over on that. But anyway, if you guys are watching after the fact, which most of you do, I greatly appreciate it. And if you're new, make sure you hit that sub button down below, because I do this every single week. And well, anyway, let's get into The Tragedy. So, all right, I thought for sure that we were not going to see Mando and Baby Yoda actually at Tython in this episode. I thought it would be a little bit more of a filler episode, kind of get us, be that setup towards the last two episodes, which I thought were going to be kind of the real episodes that kind of packed the punch. But boy, was I wrong. And I'm happy I was wrong, because this episode was incredibly fun. It was incredibly fun. And honestly, it's probably my favorite episode maybe of this season. How's it going, Stranger Boy? How's it going, Bernardo? Welcome in. Let me know what you guys thought about the latest episode of Mandalorian. But I absolutely loved what we got to see with the moving forward of the plot, I should say. I'm trying to think of like a better word to kind of use that in context, but I really couldn't. So we get to see Mando and Baby Yoda actually make it to Tython. And guess who follows them? In the Slave One, which was amazing to see. And instantly I knew it was a Slave One, and that is Boba Fett. That's right, Boba Fett, he's back, okay? And there's some really cool, not only action moments from this episode, but also really great dialogue between Mando and Boba Fett. And there's a character reveal of a certain character that was in Season 1. That's kind of like no surprise, to be honest with you. But that all worked for me. I really liked the fun of the adventure and the action epic that this episode was. The fact that it showed how relentless the Empire is about trying to acquire the child. And so that's all fun. And I really do love what this episode brought in terms of, giving us a little bit more conceptually with the child and giving us a little bit more conceptually with Mando. And another thing that I loved about this episode, because I always love this in any TV show or any movie, that is risk. There was so much risk in this episode, and it felt like the stakes were at an all-time high, and they've never been higher. And that kept me on the edge of my seat the entire time. I was engrossed. I was fixated on what was happening on screen because of just how tense I felt, because the stakes were so much higher in this episode than they had ever been before. I really like Tython. Tython has a beautiful look to it. It's a very different type of planet. It's almost kind of bare, whereas it reminds me a lot of like Earth, where some of the other planets, you get like your desert planets like Tatooine, and then you get your like forestation planets like Endor. But this one is kind of like neither of those, and there's no like hard, heavy type of weather. It just kind of felt more like it was shot in my backyard, essentially, which I really enjoyed. The whole temple stuff was really cool. The fact that we get to see the child kind of use the Force a bit more, and Mando kind of almost playing with him and inciting him to use the Force a little bit more. That's all really cool stuff, and I really did enjoy it. And I loved the ending of this episode. It left me breathless. It left me with every bit of satisfaction, and I am so excited for what next week has to bring. This might actually be my favorite episode of the entire series. I loved it that much, and I loved the episode like 3 weeks past, but this one just kind of just shot that one out of the water. And I talked about a little bit my problems with bringing back the character of Boba Fett, and why I kind of felt like that was a weird thing that they would do, and I didn't want them to play back in nostalgia. And I've never really been a big fan of Boba Fett, to be completely honest with you. But after this episode, I was like, okay, Star Wars, you made me eat my words. Congratulations. I see the big hype now. It's pretty awesome. It's pretty awesome what they have him do. And yeah, you understand why he follows Mando. It makes a lot of sense. And I thought all of that really worked. And the fact that now Boba Fett's going to be on this like heroic team for us is like incredible, man. I'm so giddy about it. This is what I want in my Star Wars. This is not force feeding me into kind of a nostalgic period, but they're actually making things make sense. Now, I want to know more about how Boba Fett survived, which I think we're going to get a little bit more of that next week, I think. But there are those kind of moments where Boba Fett, was talking with Mando and was basically saying how, he thought he could trust certain people essentially, but he couldn't. And that's why, he kind of has the same mindset as what Boba Fett had, with what happened to him in the Sarlacc pit in episode 6, Return of the Jedi. So I really liked it. I think this is my favorite episode potentially of the entire series. I need to go back and watch it again. I did watch it at like 1 o'clock this morning. So right when it dropped, I pretty much watched it. My wife has yet to watch it, so I'm going to definitely watch it with her, and I want to hear all of her takes on it. I don't know if she's particularly going to love how the way that this episode ends and everything, but I loved it. I actually really loved how this episode ended. It actually showed that this isn't all just fun and games. There's actual real stakes. And what I said was probably going to happen happened a lot earlier than I thought was going to happen. So that was really cool. We also get to see Moff Gideon again, who I love this character. I love Giancarlo Esposito as this character. He's so good in this role. And I really, really, really like Moff Gideon. He's such an intimidating villain. He has a great screen presence. And there's something about him that almost in a way makes you feel sympathy towards him, but then you realize just how maniacal he is, and you're like, no, never mind. Never mind. He's insanely crazy, especially the way he treats the child. He doesn't treat the child as a child. He treats the child, or Grogu, I should say. He treats Grogu as if like he is just anything that he can use in order to gain something from this individual or this thing. And that's all he cares about. He doesn't have sympathy for Grogu. He doesn't care that, how cute he is. He doesn't care about that. He's on a mission. He has his focus, and that makes him a very good villain. It just does. It makes him a really good villain. He has a purpose, and he's very intimidating. And boy, does he pack a punch on screen. I love it. I love it. And we can get more into kind of like the juicier details, but I kind of wanted to give you guys my general thoughts on this episode. I love this episode. I think that this episode was perfect. It fit in the right, appropriate amount of runtime, which I know people were complaining about, saying it's too short, but that's what I love about the show. The show is not conforming with the normal ideal or standard of, oh, well, we have to have 40-minute episodes every single episode or 50-minute episodes every single episode, so let's just add a bunch of filler. The episodes don't conform to the runtime. The runtime conforms to the episodes, and that's what I like about it. It's appropriate, and it does the things that it needs to do in the allotted time that is necessary to tell that specific story or that specific part of the story. And I think I just really love that. Yes, this episode was short, but I didn't really care. I don't really care that it's short because I actually wish more shows would do this. So Robert Rodriguez, by the way, did a phenomenal job. I want him to direct a Star Wars movie. I know that we have like his Shark Boy Lava Girl movie or something. I don't know. I'll see it. I don't even know what it's called though, to be honest with you. But I know he's got that coming out, and he's a fun director. I thought what he brought with the action in this was really, really cool, and you could tell that he just had a blast being able to just play around in the Star Wars sandbox. So it's pretty cool. Clicks, how's it going? Welcome in, Clicks. Thank you so much for being here. We are talking about the latest episode of The Mandalorian. Let me know your thoughts on this episode in the chat or in the comments section below. We usually keep these live streams kind of short, and I try to just kind of give my overall unfiltered thoughts, and we kind of just move on. We kind of just move on to next week. But I'm very excited for next week's episode. I can't wait to see what these last two episodes have in store. I think it's going to be kind of like almost like a part 1, part 2 type of thing. That's kind of the way that I'm thinking about it. So it's just really cool. Like Robert Rodriguez did a phenomenal job. Like I just really love this episode, and he brought his own flavor. Like you could tell that this was something Robert Rodriguez. It had that Robert Rodriguez flair to it, but you could also tell that he was so excited to be able to play in the sandbox. And I just love that. Anyway, I'm gonna read some of your guys' comments. We can get into a little bit of spoilers here. My wife is in the other room, so I'm not trying to like spoil everything for her. But yeah, anyway. Uh, Bernardo says this was a great episode to start my day. I agree. It was great. I loved it, Bernardo. Happy you enjoyed it too. So close to 500. Yeah, it's pretty crazy. I'm very flattered, very grateful for all the support. Yeah, we're almost at 500, and I hope we can get there by the end of the year. Yeah, he's back for sure. Yeah, he really is. Left wanting more and more. And that's the thing is, it's like, I don't think that's a bad thing to say. Like some people said, oh, about the episodes, like this leaves me wanting more. But I think that's actually that's like a good thing though. That's like a compliment. Like I want more. Like I can't wait till next week. But at the same time, like we could literally talk about this episode for a week, dissect it for a week, and basically come up with theories in our heads about what's going to happen moving forward. And I'm very excited to talk to some of my friends about this episode. I've talked a little bit with my friend Nate about this episode, kind of back and forth, not as exclusively as other episodes, but I want to get like Chris's thoughts. I want to get Trevor's thoughts. I need to like reach out to all of these guys. And what I want to do, I think what I'm going to do is at the season finale, maybe like a week after the season finale, I kind of want to do like a live stream, bring on a couple of my friends, like Chris, Nate, potentially Trevor, and we could just talk about Mandalorian and talk about like what we loved about this season, what we look forward to moving forward, and we'll kind of figure it out. I'm hoping. I need to kind of talk to them about it, but that'd be a lot of fun. If you guys would like to see that, comment down below and let me know. I don't care about the runtime. I just want a good story. I completely agree. Completely agree with you, Bernardo. I think that's what I like about the show, and I think that Nate was saying something to the lines of like when we were chatting back and forth. He's like, he's like, I don't like the fact that we get like a 50-minute episode, and the next week we get like a 30-minute episode. And I said, Nate, I understand that. I get it. Right. But like, I love that about this show. Because like I said, the runtime does not depict the story. The story depicts the runtime. And you can really see that in this show. They don't have filler. They don't have unnecessary stuff thrown in there just to conform to a runtime. And that's what I love about this show. This show is able to do that. And I want more shows to do that, to be honest, because how many times do we watch episodes of TV where it's like you have one episode and it's just like a filler episode? And it's just like, okay, what was the point of that? Or there's like 25 minutes of one episode of something that's really good, and then the rest of the 25 minutes is boring and just filler dialogue and stuff. Like I don't like seeing that. So it's really good that this show maybe could bring in a fresh perspective on TV, especially on streaming, now that you don't necessarily have to have a certain runtime for stuff, and you don't have to conform to a certain ideology of runtime. And that way the stories depict how long the actual runtime of each episode is. I don't know. I think that's something that a lot of people I think overlook, but I love that. And I'm always a big fan of, I don't care if like a movie is 80 minutes long, or even like Host Case, the movie Host, which is like 60 minutes long, not even. That movie is so good and it's so brilliant because it depicts the runtime itself with the story. And I just love that. I love that about entertainment. And to me, like something will feel either fast or it'll feel like long, depending on what they have in the actual story itself. But this episode to me didn't really feel like short or long. It kind of just felt like perfect. That's the way I look at it. We Can Be Heroes. Oh yeah. The Robert Rodriguez. Yeah. He's Latino and I'm Latino. I'm proud. That's awesome, dude. Bernardo, that's so cool. And what's awesome is we have a Latino lead in Pedro Pascal. I'm also Latino, so I love it. I love seeing Robert Rodriguez and Pedro Pascal and these guys getting an opportunity to be in something incredible like this. And we're also going to get another Latino lead in a Star Wars show coming up soon. That's Cassian Andor with Diego Luna, who I love. Diego Luna, I really love him a lot. Oscar Isaac is everywhere. He's being cast in a bunch of stuff. So yeah, I loved what Robert Rodriguez did for this episode. I'd love to see him do more. I hope he comes back for season 3, does like an episode again. He did a great job playing in the sandbox, and you could tell that he truly has a passion for Star Wars. and it's shown very, very bright in this episode. I am so down if I join. Yeah, well, we'll have to figure it out. What I might do is I might just like bring on people at like random times. It's something that like I need to talk to to people like Nate and Chris and Trevor and stuff. Figure it out because I would love to do a kind of like a recap of the season and then doing like talking about like what's moving forward. Maybe do some live AMA just all about Mandalorian. That would be amazing to me. And we could do other questions too if people have other questions, but try to focus just on Mandalorian and moving forward because I really love what they're doing with this show. I think that the way that they ended this episode, let's talk about that. Let's talk about the way that they ended this episode. So this episode ends with Baby Yoda being captured once again by the Empire. And it's very, like, I knew it was going to happen. I guess that was going to happen. And in a way, I wanted that to happen because I wanted there to be some type of conflict, right? Some type of stakes. And the thing is, I was still emotional. I was still emotional. And I knew that this was going to happen at some point in time, whether or not it was this episode, whether or not it was the next episode, or even in the season finale. Like I knew that this was going to be the case. They had to do this. It makes total sense for the story and the plot moving forward, and giving Mando like a little bit more of, of those stakes where he kind of almost feels down, but then he gets lifted right back up. Where Boba Fett's like, because you could tell Mando after the child gets captured by the Empire. Mando is defeated. He's sad. His ship gets blown up, the Razor Crest, which I've come to love the Razor Crest. That's really sad too. Everything that he had is gone. Everything he had is gone. And he cared for the child like as if it was his own son. So, one of the more moving things for me is when he picks up all the rubbish that's all over after the ship gets blown up, and he picks up the little ball that the child would play with, and he puts it in his pocket. And you could tell that he's just defeated at this moment. He knows he lost, and he believes it's over. And Boba Fett comes to him and says that, basically he shows him like, look, here's my chain. This is why this is my armor. He sees it and he's like, okay. And he says, well, you did what you wanted to do, so you guys can leave. And he's like, no, we didn't do what I said we would do. We said we'd help you have safe passage along with the child, and that's what we're gonna do. And I was like, yeah, baby! Like, I was so pumped. I was so happy. I was so excited because that's what we needed, right? We needed that, and he needed that. And you could tell that there's a little bit more life in him now. He has a purpose. He knows what he's going to do. And I'm very excited to see how that confrontation is going to be. I like between him and Gideon. It's gonna be pretty insane. Now, here's the thing. Chris and I talked about this last week, or I guess on Monday. But I think that there are potentially more. I think that now you can make an argument for why Boba Fett equally deserves the right to take on Moff Gideon. Now he has the Beskar staff. That staff is going to be important because I'm telling you right now, what we saw with Ahsoka Tano and that officer, that kind of leader in the Imperial Force, that battle that we saw between them with the Beskar staff and with her lightsabers. We're going to see the exact same thing, but this time it's going to be Mando and Moff Gideon. And Moff Gideon's going to have the Darksaber. Mando's going to have the staff, and it's going to be amazing. I'm actually really looking forward to that. Bo-Katan, I still think that there's a chance we see Bo-Katan at the end of this season, but maybe she comes into more of a play in season 3. Maybe. I mean, here's me speculating, right? Maybe Mando kills Moff Gideon, gets the Darksaber, gives it to Bo-Katan. And then that's when Admiral Thrawn, who is the leader, the hierarchy of the Empire, he comes in and he becomes the new villain of season 3. That could very much be the case, I don't know. This is just me speculating. These are just theories. But this is kind of almost in a way like where I feel like the show could possibly go. Now, we could still see that confrontation between Gideon and Bo-Katan, clearly, obviously. But I think now there is a point where you can make in justifying Gideon versus Mando. And I think that would be a really, really amazing battle. And I'm very excited. I can't wait to see what happens moving forward. Obviously the child is now with the Empire. It's going to be very interesting to see what kind of happens there. The fact that, the child is so strong. I love the scene where he's just whipping around the stormtroopers with the Force. Amazing stuff. That was incredible. That harkens back to everything I love about the original trilogy of Star Wars, just in a nutshell. He's choking out the Imperial officers. And here's the thing that I loved about it. Because Gideon had a purpose for that. He had a purpose for not stopping it, because he could have easily stopped it. He wanted to see this kid rage, because what does that lead to? Hate, anger, defiance leads to one path, and that is the dark path. And so maybe Gideon, in his mind, is thinking, these are just speculations. Maybe in his mind, he's thinking, we can harness whatever we can from this kid in terms of midichlorians to fuel our army. And if he has some left, he can be a part of what we're doing, and he can be an unstoppable force for the Empire. That's the type of look that I saw in Gideon's eyes. I don't know if they're going to go that route again. But I think there's a potential for that. I think Mando's going to stop them before they even have a chance of that. I'm not saying that that's going to happen, but like in terms of like the reason for why he wanted to see that, I think he wanted to see the kid rage and have that defiance, because that leads to the dark side of the Force. And clearly Gideon knows about the Force. He knows about the balance of the Force. He knows about the good and the dark. And so I think, yes, right here, Bernardo, I love this. Moff is testing him. I completely agree. It's a test. He's testing him. He is testing him because he wants to see this kid go down that path. Even if Gideon dies from all this, Mando gets the child back, which is going to happen. I really don't see any chance that it's not going to happen. Maybe this kid, even after, is going to be still defiant and still have anger in his heart, fear in his heart, because those things lead to the dark side of the Force. Because Gideon has he has a very good knowledge of how the Force works. That to me is amazing. That is incredible stuff. And I am so excited to see next week's episode, guys. That is just, I can't wait. I cannot wait. Robert lives in San Antonio, and I'm currently living in San Antonio, which is crazy. But yeah, it's crazy. He comes from a smaller films. Now he's in a star. Yeah, it's so cool, man. I've always liked Robert Rodriguez. I've always liked him. I think his older films are a little bit more goofy, but I do like a lot of what he's able to do. Like Alita Battle Angel, I quite enjoyed. Actually, I thought it was a lot of fun. And so it's really cool to see him like play in the sandbox. And I would love to see him do something else with Star Wars. And I think I could definitely see him coming back for season 3 for sure. Let's do it. Sign him up for an episode right now. He is not giving up. Yeah, well, he did that little pick me up from Boba Fett and Finnick, which is cool. We get to see Finnick back, which that's not a surprise at all. Everyone knew she was coming back because of that cliffhanger from season 1, and the fact that she's now working for Boba Fett's kind of cool. I like Finnick. She's a good character. She's not bad. Chills, freaking chills. Yeah, I love this episode, guys. This episode is phenomenal. I really enjoyed it. I can't wait to watch it again. Probably will watch it maybe tomorrow with my wife. I don't know. But it's incredible. Like I said, probably my favorite episode of the series so far. I might even do some type of ranking video or something in the future. Probably when the show is all done, so in a couple of years when the show is all done and we've seen all of it, I'll probably go back and do a ranking of my top 10 favorite episodes. I'm sure that this episode will be up there because this episode's amazing to me. But yeah, guys, let me know your guys' thoughts down below in the comments section of this video. And I want to thank Bernardo, Stranger Boy, Clicks, all of you guys for being here. I really appreciate it. It means the world to me. I just like doing this unfiltered and kind of raw, because I like talking about Star Wars in this type of fashion, because I could talk all day about Star Wars. But yeah, I'm going to go have a great rest of my Friday night. I also encourage you guys to have a great rest of your Friday night. Be good to one another. Be healthy and safe. I will have a new video up tomorrow, so stay tuned for that. Make sure you guys also go check out my make sure you guys also go check out the video I put up yesterday for the 10 Christmas movies you need to watch this year. I would love if Robert would do a Boba Fett miniseries. I don't really care about a Boba Fett miniseries, but why not? Why not? Yeah, Robert Rodriguez can do anything in Star Wars, in my opinion, with what he was able to show in this episode. But anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching. If you like this, make sure you hit that thumbs up button. I'd really appreciate it. We're getting close to 500 subs. Please consider hitting the subscribe button if you are brand new. I make content regularly every single week, so make sure that you will be here. And next Friday, I'll be back here next Friday in my setup talking about the latest episode of Mandalorian, which will be Chapter 15. I don't know what the title is yet because I don't look ahead to those types of things because I like to be surprised. Anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in my next video. May the Force be with you.